Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, January 26th. When it's 30 degrees outside, what do? You come in the greenhouse and you plant. We'll see how well the repurposed pallets work out. Today we're going to take a look at onions. We're going to peel back the layers. Why don't my onions grow any bigger than the size of a golf ball? Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot more to an onion than you think. To grow great bulb onions, you need to know how the temperature affects them and how the length of day affects them. We're going to talk a little bit about that here this afternoon. We're going to go ahead and get some seeds planted. Now I went and got some of our mulch. We're just going to fill these cells up. Beautiful thing about having a dirt floor and slots in your pallets, you don't have to be too careful. These should sprout in about 10 or 15 days. Then we'll go ahead and we'll move them out in the garden in a temporary cold frame. We're going to do 2 pallets per sets of onions, but we're going to talk about these onions. Now, onions are cool weather biennial plants, which means it takes 2 seasons to go from seed to seed with winter cold in between. That's why if you buy sets or you buy the little bulbs and you plant them, it's coming into their second year. The minute it warms up, they shoot up a lot of green and put on a great big seed head. I think you've noticed that in your garden. I've noticed it in my garden. Onions are also photothermal periodic, which means they're very sensitive to the amount of light and temperature they receive. Some of the things that affect how big your onions are, basically where you live. Since most people aren't going to change where they live to get a bigger onion, you got to look at what kind of onion you're going to plant. Let's not waste any of that. That's beautiful. I think I'm going to have to add a leg right here in the center as we start getting some weight on this. Now, onions are broken down into 3 categories: long day, short day, and intermediate day. I'll explain that here in just a second. Onion bulb development is highly regulated by daylight. The amount of daylight that you have in your area varies throughout the year as the earth moves. The size of my onion. There's 3 kinds of onions. You got long day, short day, and intermediate day. And that's based off of the longitude and latitude as the earth's spinning, but it also tips as it goes around. I had to use this because it kept saying short day length, long day length as I was doing my research. And I'm a very visual person, so I needed some kind of a visual aid. Now right here, you have the 30th parallel and the 45th parallel. So right about in the between there, right at the Oklahoma-Kansas border is just about the 37th parallel. So you follow the line just about the top of Oklahoma, bottom of Kansas, across the United States. Anything above that would be above the 37th, 38th parallel. It goes the same on the southern hemisphere depending on what time of year it is. All right, here's the deal. In the summer, you've got a hole in the earth. in the summer, as the earth spins, Alaska, all of the Arctic, 24 hours of daylight, it's a length of day, long day. Come down to the 38th parallel, you still have long day as it turns. Anything below that is short day with the sunlight. Here's the deal. If you try to grow long day onions below the 38th, 37th parallel, all you're going to get is scallions. That's why your bulbs never develop. They don't get enough sunlight. And then by the time it warms up, then they bolt and you're done. Let's take a look at a couple varieties. Short day onions take 12 to 14 hours of sunlight to bulb. Long days take 14 to 16 to bulb. The further north you go, the longer your duration. I've added a partial list of short day, long day, and intermediate onions in the description box below. Okay, we got 3 different varieties that we're going to try. Now the problem with buying sets or seed bulbs Really no description on them. They say red, yellow. They don't even give a variety most times, let alone whether they're long day or short day. So it's really tough to even determine. So I picked up these 3 varieties. 2 of them are short day, 1 of them is long day. Although it doesn't say anything on the package. These are pretty good sized little seeds, so this would be pretty easy to plant. Now after I filled these cells, I just poked them down firm. I'm going to put 1 or 2 in each one of these. See what kind of germination rate we get. If you get a couple that pop up, these are pretty easy to separate. And you don't have to discard, you just replant. Until I get something to mark these with, I'm just going to leave the package sitting there. Plenty of seed to sow directly into the ground for succession planting. It's rained the last couple days, so our compost is good and wet, so I'm not going to have to water any of this. Now our long day variety, we're going to plant down here. We'll see what we get with this long day variety. Worst come to worst, we'll have some scallions. And I'm just going to lightly fill over the top. We've got good soil contact with all the seeds. Compost. Nice and damp. Nice and cool weather. Now the first seeds are in, and it may be just a little early, but you know what? We'll see what we get. It is much warmer in the greenhouse right now than it is outside, but I do see there's a couple spots around the doors I need to add some weather stripping. There's a little bit of cool air coming in here, and it's going to let the warm air bleed out a little too fast, but I'll bet you it doesn't freeze in here. Thanks for coming to the greenhouse on this winter's day, and we'll see what we get. Until next time, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.